Hi there, Michelle Marsden and Marsden Accountants. So today's predictions are around employment and furlough and things like that. Because basically, if we're going to get the country back on its feet, we need to employ more people somehow. And there's a lot of people lost their jobs, but if things ever get back to normal, those jobs should be back there somewhere along the lines, but people will be cautious. Business owners are going to be cautious for a while. So initially, I predict that furlough is going to be extended. I think they've already hinted that anyway. It was up to the end of April. So I think at least to the end of May, but I'm guessing at least probably June. Or maybe on a rolling month basis at the beginning of 1 month, say that they will, so that people, because people, if you're going to make somebody redundant, you see, you should be thinking about it. Well, you should have think about it now, really, shouldn't you? Because of the 90-day rule. So I think there have been a lot of redundancies because of that. But yeah, in terms of, furloughing, I think, April's got to be at least May, maybe even June, and maybe even a different longer term solution. But that's the first thing, is furlough is going to be something, it's going to be there. One of the other things I think you might do around employment is we have an employment allowance every year, which most small employers get up to a certain threshold, and we've been getting about £4,000 a year, which helps that when you're employing somebody on a minimum wage, and basically you get that money back, so you don't pay the extra 13.8%, which is quite a bit when you're employing somebody at 15, 20 grand a year sort of thing. So it's to encourage smaller businesses as well to employ people, because you only get up to a certain threshold. So I think there may be a bit of movement there, because it will only encourage those to do it who really need the help, to make sure that they can afford to do it. So that might be a bit of movement there, so that'd be something that could happen. The other thing I was thinking with the employees as well is, obviously there's a kickstart scheme for employees that have been out of work for a long period of time, and that hasn't really got going so much yet. There are movements along that way now, but it hasn't really got going. So I think there might be a bit more of a push in the kickstart scheme. There's been a few problems, that's for sure, and that's why they reduced it down from 30 to just, you can make your own application basically, because too many people were taking the admin charges. So that hasn't really, because that hasn't taken off yet, there might be a bit more movement around that as well, really, just to try and encourage employers to take on people. Yeah, because that's what we need now. We need to, if we're going to get back to normal in June, July-ish, we need to get back into employing people that haven't been, they're out of work basically. So we need to have that encouragement to do that as employers. So I think there'll be a few things that'll be tweaked there, to try and help us to encourage not just young people. The young people have suffered quite big time, but to encourage a lot of people to get back into work. The employers have to have the incentives to give the jobs out there. So those are my predictions around employment. Yeah, time to shine. Let's see what happens, Rishi.